On this episode of Carnage, we're going to stick that in there and crank up the boost. Well, that was the way we were going to go. This was going to be the start of a Carnage episode. We were going to get this engine, the 5.3, shove it in the Mazda, crank up the boost, but it all come a bit unstuck once we started pulling this engine down and discovered it had some real issues. Now, we're going to keep rolling with this for the moment just to show you what can happen when you're buying second-hand engines and parts. Sometimes they can really bring you unstuck. Now, we paid $2,200 for this engine. It was supposed to be a good 5.3. It sounds like a lot of money, but they are bringing pretty decent dollars because they are such a good thing and in high demand. Now, it was bought from a wreckers in the States and imported. Now it's been covered in plastic for a long time by the guy we bought it from and then by us. So there's been no opportunity for water to get in there until, well, basically that original wrecking yard, I guess, is where the problem arose. Now the guy we bought it from is really coming to the party. He's going to refund us all our money. It's not really his fault, but it is just, the engine isn't fit for purpose. So we were hoping to gap the rings, whack it in there, and go boosting like crazy, and if we'd done that and hurt it, that'd be on us. But unfortunately we pulled it down and found some issues, so we'll show you what went on there, and then yeah, it's kind of one of those things. We're going to have to work out where we go from here, so let's roll on the video. This is MX 5.7, a 1998 model NB Mazda MX-5. That's what they call them here in Australia. In the States they call them a Miata. So we bought this thing through Grays Online, took it to All Race where they tubbed it, caged it and set it up for an LS1 V8 with an engine plate. Then we took it to MPW where those guys let us take over their workshop for 12 days while we thrashed to get this thing done. It has a 5.7-litre LS1 twin turbo power glide 9-inch. It is awesome. We made it just in time to Alice Springs so we could cruise the streets, race on the track. It was a fat time. It was fantastic. So since then we have replaced the engine with a stock 5.7, made 600 horsepower at the tyres, and then took it back to Alice Springs and ran 990 when they kicked us off the track. That was pretty awesome. But we want more power, more speed, more boost. We want it all, and that engine has nothing left to give. So we're going to get rid of this thing and put in a 5.3 truck motor. This is a cast iron 5.3 truck motor. Well, truck, SUV, you name it, they came in them. They were GM's bread and butter motor. They're just about in everything. They do 4.8, 5.3, 6 litres, but the 5.3 has a very good reputation for handling lots of boost, making lots of power, and making cars go very fast. So we want some of that. So the MX-5's got some pretty decent heads on it already. They've got good valves, good springs, titanium retainers. So we'll swap them off, put them on this, change the cam, change the sump, and we're going to make some serious power with this thing. We've already made 600 horsepower at the tyres on relatively low boost. So with this thing, more boost, we're going to see some real power and hopefully run some decent numbers. I'd like to see it go somewhere into the 8s. Serious, 8 seconds. Okay, so our truck motor is second hand. That's pretty obvious. Apparently it's not too bad though. I can't remember how many Ks, but it's not a million. So it should be pretty good. I'm going to hit some of these bolts with a bit of WD. See how we go. We've already got one snapped off there, although that won't affect us because we're changing the heads, but yeah. Extractor bolts or header bolts are always a problem with these things. So 10 mil is definitely your friend when pulling these apart. 8, 10, 13. Actually, I'm not seeing too many 13s to be honest. There's a lot of 10s though. 10 mil. It's definitely a favourite when it comes to the LS. Maybe that's where the 10 mil thing comes from. You know, everyone's raving about 10 mil sockets lately. Maybe it's because LS engines, because you need lots of them. Okay, it's Ryobi o'clock. Oh, that's one of them. And one dipstick tube. Alrighty. Water pump. Wow. Yuck. Yep. Yeah. Bit of salt in there, I think. So, knock sensors. Wow. I've never seen knock sensors come out looking like that before. America. Salt on the roads. You. I'll make sure we'll give that a quick clean out. Done some miles. Jeeves. There's some crud in there. Oh man. What the shiz? Oh, that one's rusty as fuck. Well, this might not be good news, kids. Yeah, because that's a lot of surface rust in that bore. I'll have to see if these will come up with a hone, get a dingle ball, run it through, see what that comes up with. Yeah, we might be looking at a full rebuild job, which if that's the case, then it'll get rods and pistons and even more boost. So the news isn't good. The engine's not too bad down this bottom end, but in the bores it's filthy, and I really don't think it's going to clean up. I think we would have to put rods and pistons into this. It's pretty much guaranteed. So the guy we bought it off, I've been in contact, and he said, look, if it's unusable, put it back together and send it back. And I think maybe we will have to do that, because yeah, I think we're up for at least 3 or 4 grand to make this thing usable, which is a real shame. So that's where we're at the moment. We've put the engine back together. It's going to go back to where it came from, and thankfully, like I said, the guy that we bought it from is coming to the party and giving us a full refund, which doesn't always happen. Actually, it happens pretty rarely. In this day and age, there's a lot of guys that will sell you junk and then just keep your money, and you are stuck with whatever. But we did pay good money for it. We are getting a full refund. We could rebuild this engine, you know, bore it out, new pistons, all that sort of stuff, but it's kind of rebuilder prices are a lot less than good running engine prices. So, you know, if we'd paid $500 for it, we'd be like, kind of, all right, let's just do what we're going to do. But, you know, the money we paid, we could use to buy a pretty decent engine. So we'll go engine shopping, whether it's a 4.8, 5.3, or even a 6-litre. We need an engine to go into that. But that also raises the question, you know, do we keep going? I mean, we did, you know, that vote, the poll had, you know, 6,000 people vote on it, and 57% of you said, well, let's keep the Mazda, let's go further, which means 43% of you, nearly half of you said, move on, we don't care anymore. So we need to decide, is that a big enough of a gap to make a difference? Do we keep going? I mean, we had the engine, we were going to keep going, but now do we, you know, now that we've got to send this back and we've got to find a new engine, do we keep going with it? There's a lot of parts in there that could make another car very happy. So we're just going to have to decide. Leave your comments below, and yeah, as always, keep watching, because you'll see it all on Carnage.